These are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's free business webinar, The Marketer's Guide, 5 Steps to Stand Out with Internet Video, brought to you by Citrix GoToWebinar. Over the next hour, with the help of video and search guru Jim Stewart, we'll reveal the 5 critical steps for creating and delivering web videos that stand out without breaking the bank. We'll be covering off how to master the elements of video content production, strategies to optimize search and related videos for more views, some valuable YouTube insights and Google Plus integration tips, and Jim's also going to run us through a case study of an obscure appliance brand that increased sales 5-fold via YouTube. And in case anyone's looked at the Citrix Online channel on YouTube, we have a whole heap of video, and we're not doing many of these things, so I shall be listening with the rest of you fairly intently. Hello to each and every one of you. My name's James New from Citrix Online. I have the pleasure of being your moderator today. Now, there's still a few people to join us in the back seats, so while they settle in and take those seats in the back row, I'm just going to run through some quick housekeeping with you. I guess the first rule is please do interact with us today. There's no need to take too many notes because within the day we'll give you a link to view the recording. Plus, if you request them via the exit survey, there'll be handouts of the slides and some excellent resources from today's guest speaker and from us here in the GoToWebinar team. So in terms of interacting, really just type your questions into the questions pane. Hopefully you can all see it in your control panel. And what we'll do is we'll stop from time to time and providing we're tracking well for time, ask those to Jim, and then at the end we'll have a full Q&A session. And also feel free to type in your comments from time to time, and we'll make sure we cover those off and address them as we go through. If you want to just try out the questions pane now, just so you know where it is, that would be great. Maybe just type in where you're joining us from today, or what device, or what location, or whether you're work shifting and working at home. Hi, Sarah. Mornington, that Peter's joining us from. Simone in Sydney. Nathan in Ultimo. Cassie from Darwin. Helen from Melbourne. Ollie from Wellington. Chris from Rockhampton. Wonderful. Everyone's obviously knows where that questions pane is. So thanks, everyone, and welcome to you all. Great to see you all there. And there's many more of you filing in. So if we do have sufficient time at the end, you can put your virtual hand up and we can take you off mute and into the conversation, but we'll see how we're tracking for time. And of course, if you're on Twitter and you want to talk to the other people who are on today's webinar, I can't promise that myself and Jim will be tweeting throughout the webinar, but we'll see. But certainly you can connect with the others on the webinar at the hashtag Internet Video. So, do join that conversation. Before I introduce and hand over to our speaker, I just wanted to run a couple of polls to set the scene with them, just so we can, I guess, find out what experience level we've got, and so we can hopefully align our content accordingly throughout. So I'm just going to launch the poll. If you could just click on the screen and vote which is the most relevant option. Just really want to find out what your experience with producing, delivering video is. Whether you do it all the time, do it some of the time, you really do it, or you've never done it. Those votes are coming in pretty quickly. That's well over 80% of you. So let me close that poll, share those results, and hopefully, Jim, are they coming up on screen for you? Wonderful. Yeah, bit of a lag there. Sorry, guys. Purely operator error. So you can see 44% of our audience have never done it. 25% really, and 24% some of the time. So not too many other video gurus on their 7%. So that's great. And we're certainly covering off video, but we're also covering off, how search integrates with it. So I'm going to launch another quick poll with you. Let's get your experience level on search marketing. So bear with me one second. So that poll's up on screen. And again, similar answers, but what's your experience with search strategy, search marketing, whatever you want to call it? And again, I'll just give that a couple of seconds. Wow, you guys are quick on the voting today. That's 90% already. Wonderful. Let's, again, share those results on screen. And again, 36% never done it, 23% really, 29% some of the time. A few more of you do it all the time. So hopefully that's set the scene for Jim. And he's probably rushing around behind the scenes changing his presentation accordingly. So, so Let's introduce Jim. High time. You can hear him chuckling in the background. So very pleased to welcome Jim Stewart to the virtual stage. A bit of background on Jim. In 1998, he formed Stewart Media to focus on the emerging area of rich media on the internet. He's consulted to a number of national broadcasters in Pakistan, India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Thailand, Malaysia, Fiji. Lots of nice locations, all on streaming media. So from 98 to 2001, he produced and presented a daily video tech news show called IOB Coffee Break, which was syndicated to Yahoo, AOL, Real Networks, and Microsoft Windows Media Guide. So, and indeed Optus Home as well, so, and ZDNet. He had over 50,000 viewers per month from 23 different countries. And from 1997 to 2002, he was an ABC 774 internet consultant. He appeared on Network 10's The Panel, Channel 9's The Current Affair, Sky News' Switzer program. And in 2004, he started to SEO his own websites, and a year later, he was doing it for a number of other companies. If you haven't checked out his blog, he's got a wonderful weekly video blog running, and it does feature video. He publishes that every Wednesday, no matter where he is in the world. And I'll certainly be sharing details. In fact, you can see it on screen. So there's his blog address. So don't check it out now. Check it out after the webinar. And he's also spoken at a number of events, Connect Now, CBIT, Marketing Now, Mobile Contact Word. So as you can see, he's no shrinking violet, and he's done a fair share of broadcast media himself. So without further delay, let's give a warm virtual welcome to Jim, joining us from Melbourne. Hi, Jim.
Hi, James. Thanks for that. It was lovely. I couldn't have said it better if I'd written myself, which I did. But, okay, let's get this show on the road.
Cool.
Interesting poll numbers there. Thank you for doing that. Just wait for that.
Yep, I'm just changing presentership over to Jim. So and we'll get Jim to show his screen.
Right. Have you seen my screen yet, I hope?
Yep.
Great. All right. What we're going to do today is we're going to work through 5 different steps that I always go through or talk to people about when we're talking about using video online. But the first thing I always like to do is, and I know you probably wouldn't be here unless you were convinced you should be using video in some shape or form on the net. But I want to walk through some numbers for you with YouTube. And YouTube, of course, is the biggest gorilla on the block. We will be talking about other video services out there, but for the most part, what I'll be saying today is to do with YouTube. It's the number 2 search engine in the world. Not a lot of people realize that. It has more searches per day than Yahoo and Bing. And, you know, Google is the only biggest search engine. Video has impact. Video has the ability to put something in someone's face that they may not, that audio can't do, that radio can't do. We know that 90% of communication is visual, and TV is better than radio, and the same applies with video. I used to do a lot with the music industry back in the late 90s, and it was at the time when we were doing the technology news show, and it was audio only at that time because that's all we had. We couldn't do video online. And then in about 1999, video technology came out, and I was talking to my friend who'd been in the broadcast industry for 30 years, and I said, there's no real reason that I should go to video. Yeah, this is a technology news show. What benefit is video going to add? There's no value, extra value. And he said, Jim, it's the difference between radio and television. When you're just doing audio or you're just doing print, you're either newspapers or your radio. When you go to video, think of the extra impact that visual element has. You know, the big bucks are always paid in TV. You know, the ones getting paid big bucks in radio are the exception rather than the rule. And the other number is now, these days, 75% of people on the internet are actually watching video in some shape or form. You know, YouTube is quite extraordinary. They're getting 780 million people watching YouTube every month. That's 3 billion videos a day. That's more than people watch cable TV in the US. People are auto-sharing 12 million YouTube videos to other social networks, to Facebook, to Twitter. There are basically, it's about 150 years worth of YouTube videos are watched every day. Every minute, more than 500 tweets contain YouTube links, and 100 million people interact socially on YouTube every week. So a lot of people don't realize that, but YouTube is very much a social network as well. The average auto-shared tweet results in about a viewer watching another 6 videos. So it's quite extraordinary how we're, one video slide too many, anyway. So if you're going to do video, the first step is you need to establish what is the goal with this video. The personal branding is what I started out to do. And that's what I call a video blog, or a vlog is what we used to call them back in 2005. The other type of video is what we call brand fan creation. So trying to get more people following your brand online, trying to get more people being fans of the brand and talking to other people about it. And a very good example of that is Blendtec, and I'll talk to you about them in a second. And the other video that you might want to consider doing is actually selling products on video or through YouTube. And there's been plenty of fantastic examples of that happening. And that includes real estate to toothbrushes. And I'll show you one interesting case study of that in a second. So what's a brand fan? This guy is quite amazing, and a lot of you would have already seen his videos because he gets millions of views every time he puts a video up. He owns a blending company, a company that makes blenders, and they basically one day he was walking through the factory and they were testing some of the blenders, and he was watching these guys test the blenders, and they were putting all sorts of things into the blenders, and he thought, you know what, this would make a great video. So he actually goes and makes regular videos on YouTube. He's blended everything from big cigarette lighters through to iPhones, and when the iPad came out, he was the first man in history to blend an iPad. Why you would do that? Well, it got spread like wildfire, and people got exposed to his brand. Now, his videos actually have very good production values. He has good microphones, he has good lighting, and I think that's important when you're trying to showcase a product. But those videos saw a 5-fold increase in sales. Now, who wouldn't want to buy a blender that you knew could actually blend big cigarette lighters? I did. I thought, what a strong blender. Of course. The other personal branding issue is one that we hear a lot about, but it's a fantastic way to do it through YouTube. In case you're wondering what that photograph is, it's actually the arm of my stepson with a tattoo of his mother on it. Talk about personal branding. But video builds trust. I go into meetings a lot of the time where people feel that they've already met me because they've been watching the video for years, or they've seen at least a couple of the videos. What that does for a meeting is quite amazing. It just you've already broken the ice before you've walked through the door. People trust you more so than other people they haven't seen or heard of before. I started doing the video in 2005 because what I wanted to do was stand out from the crowd with SEO. No other SEO person that I saw was doing video at the time in the world. So I thought, what a great way to actually get our message out there. And what I started to do for content is that I basically revealed our secret sauce, how we did SEO. And my logic behind it at the time was that people are constantly asking me how to do this. And the fear, of course, that I had was, well, if I tell people how they're going to do it, why would they need to hire me to do it? So what I decided to do was, well, if they're going to do it themselves or they are DIYers, why do they need me anyway? They don't. And they're not my customer. My customer is the larger company, it's the corporate, who knows that they have to hire a professional to do this. I don't service my own car, but I know a lot of people do. And it's the same concept. So I just started telling people how to do this. And now YouTube is our main business channel, and it has been for the last few years. We've had blue chip companies that now use us and have found us via YouTube, which I found extraordinary. We get probably 75 of our business comes out of YouTube. And that's either by people recommending us because they've seen us on YouTube, or that they have been watching the thing for a few years and their company's grown to a point where they don't want to do it themselves now, so they'll come and hire us. We've actually become a YouTube partner, and that's not something you can just apply for. That's something that Google YouTube has to actually approve. And a YouTube partner basically allows you to then upload videos of any length. If you're not a YouTube partner, the maximum length of video you can upload is 15 minutes. Our studies have shown over the years for business videos, 10 minutes really tends to be the limit for people. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that will disagree with me. They'll do long interviews and those sorts of things. But by and large, 10 minutes is pretty much the limit. And I try to stick to that on a regular basis, even though that being a YouTube partner, I'm now allowed to upload a video of, I don't know, 10 hours or something. And I can talk for that long, but I don't think anybody would watch it. If you're going to sell products on YouTube, I would recommend you go and have a look at this guy's story. This is a case study called Aura Brush. And basically, it's a tongue cleaner of all things. Now, the guy, it was a new product. It was a doctor. He invented this product. He knew what would cause bad breath. So he decided to invent this product to stop bad breath. He actually put together an infomercial on American television and ran it for a while and didn't get any interest whatsoever. So then he decided, well, I'll go to the local university and ask the people doing marketing there, what should I be doing? How can I market this thing? And they came back to him and they said, well, sorry, but 92% of people would not buy this product online. And one of the students, though, in the course said, hang on a second, if 92% of people won't buy this product online, that means there's 8% that will. He said, there's a lot of people online. So we're up to 1 billion people online. If 8% of those bought your tongue brush, how good would that be? So he worked with this guy, and they put together a $200 video, and that's all it cost them to do. And really unsophisticated video, but clear, good production values. And he got inquiries from 40 countries, and that product is now distributed via Walmart nationally in the US. So it's quite an extraordinary story when, he tried traditional methods, the one that everyone said you should do a infomercial, didn't work. And the things that they did, it's a bit more than just making the video. You've got to give a clear call to action within the video or at the end of the video or as a what we call an annotation over the top of the video, which you can do in YouTube, or especially in the description of the video. A lot of people we see don't actually put a link back to their site or back to a landing page where they can grab, the person can leave their details or find out more information. For us, we put a watermark of our URL in just about every video we do, and we also have the backlink to the site in the description of every video that we do, and we also put that on our YouTube channel. And your YouTube channel is basically where your homepage on YouTube, if you like. And the mistake that I've seen some big marketing companies make, sorry, jumped a slide again there, is that they try to treat YouTube like it's a TV station. And there's a bit of a large yellow paper directory I'm seeing happening at the moment on YouTube. And what they're doing is they're just putting a lot of, basically, ads for their clients up on YouTube, which, excuse me, if we remember that YouTube is very much an interactive medium, and you should not be putting ads up on YouTube. That serves no purpose at all. People do not go to YouTube to watch ads. They go to YouTube to seek out information, the same reason that they go to a search engine. Now, that could be comedy, it could be humor, it could be entertainment, but they're going to YouTube to seek information. They're not going there to watch an ad. And I think a lot of that happens because marketers have grown up with the mentality that with television we need to have ads, which is true, because it's too expensive to make your own program. But if you have your own program and you have infinite amount of channels, if you like, which you do on YouTube, because it's all non-linear, then you don't have to create an ad. You can connect directly with your customers who have interests in your product. For instance, I've seen an ad up recently for a Cairns-based security systems company, and he's telling you why his company is so good. I think a better course of action for them would be to tell you how to install your own security system, or what security systems you should choose and why, or what the different security systems are on the market out there, and what's different about them. You think of the explosion of home improvement shows and real estate shows and all these different shows that we see on television, which essentially are just about more information about a particular topic. They're not necessarily entertainment in the traditional form. Well, you can do that on YouTube and connect and engage directly with your customer.
Can I just stop you with a quick question, Jim? Sorry. Craig and a whole heap of people actually are just saying, aren't people just going to YouTube to watch funny videos or music videos? Is there anything you can add in terms of research or what type of content they really are consuming? Have I lost you? Bear with me, everyone. Let me just.
Subscription. And sorry.
That's all right. Well, I lost your audio. Hopefully, everyone else didn't. Yes, Phil did. So I think I think you might have been muted for a second there, Jim.
I didn't do it.
That's all right. It's all right. The main thing is you're back. I was just Maybe I thought it was because I interrupted you with a quick question. There's just a lot of people asking. In terms of YouTube usage, aren't people just going to watch funny videos, music videos, etc.? Is there a lot more research in terms of what type of content they're consuming now?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but look, all the politicians in the US, Obama has his own channel, Oprah has her own channel. I mean, it's being used for a wide variety of content. I'm sure that there's certainly a lot of entertainment usage being used, but I think today it would reflect pretty much what we use the internet for. YouTube is just a larger part of the internet, and so the sorts of things that people do online, they're doing on YouTube now.
Sure.
Because it's such a huge variety of content.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, so getting back to video discovery, using your keywords is really important, and the text around the video that you upload. And the reason for that is that people use YouTube like a search engine. Not only that, but of course Google embeds YouTube videos and videos from other channels within the search results as well. So using the keywords and understanding the keywords that your audience is using and who you want to target is especially important. And if you haven't used something like, say, Google's Insights for Search, I suggest you go and Google that and use it and start to discover what sorts of keywords people are using. Socially connecting is really important with the video. In fact, recently, still talking about YouTube here, YouTube changed their interface, so there is a lot more social connectivity between not only Google Plus but also Facebook and Twitter. And remember, if you're going to use Facebook, I started out when Facebook first started, and I've gone back and had a look at my recently revealed timeline from Facebook. And back in 2007, I was uploading videos on Facebook, but they didn't get terribly many views. Facebook is not a good medium for uploading a video to, because Facebook is not a medium of a discovery. It's limited to the amount of people that you're connected with, as opposed to, say, something like Twitter or Google Plus or YouTube even, in that people can run a search on something and find it. You can't do that in Facebook. So if you're going to use Facebook to promote your video, I would suggest, if it's personal branding or something like that, then make sure you share the YouTube link within your Facebook stream. And if you're a business, set up a business page as well and make sure you post there. I post in my personal stream, my business page on Facebook, and also on Twitter and on Google Plus, and of course then it's all my subscribers on YouTube see the video as well. The other way to get more viewers or discovery of your video is to have your related or your video turn up related or recommended videos after someone watches a video. How do you get found in that section? And that's a really good question, and a lot of people ask me that one. And this is how we did it. It's really interesting. Of course, you've got to use, if for instance you know that there's a video that, or a topic where you want to be found under when someone stops watching a really popular video, you've got to have this, first of all, the same keywords that that original video was using. But in this section here, and I don't know whether my mouse pointer is showing here, but I'll point anyway, you can see my bald, ugly head in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, that's my video that came up in related videos after that Matt Cutts video. Now, anybody who is experienced in search would be familiar with Matt Cutts. He is Google's senior anti-spam engineer. And when he talks about anything, the search world listens. And what happened is that I was using similar keywords in my video, but the key for my video turning up after his video finished playing was the timing of it. And what happened was he was interviewed a week after I posted that video that you see there, and talking about the same thing that I was talking about in that interview. So because my video had been up earlier than his, but it was also related because it was talking about the same key phrases and the same unique topic, my video came up in related videos. And we got hits from some really big news websites, because remember, people embed these videos on in sites like Mashable, Mumbrella, sites all around the world, and related video still comes up at the end. So what you can do is pre-plan, and if you know there's a large event coming up, if you know that there's something that's being announced soon or a conference or something, then you might want to start putting a video about that together maybe a week before you know that there will be more content uploaded about that, just to get ahead of the curve a little. And you will get more views that way as well. Video search optimization is a relatively simple thing to do, and this is the video that appeared in that Matt Cutts related videos. And you can see there we've got Google caffeine, which was the phrase that we ranked for, and was the phrase that Matt Cutts was talking about as well. And we've got it down there also in the description, and you'll see there that I've got a backlink to the site, and I've also put up the Twitter link as well. Now, people often ask me, well, how do I get my video ranked? Well, just do those things. It's in the title, which is in this instance Google caffeine. It's getting the keywords in the description, and it's also using your tags. You can add tags, and you would add a variety of tags around the subject that you're talking about, and using your keywords, of course. And the tags will also help you come up for related videos as well. Now, you can go back and change your title of your video and change the title of your description. So if you think it should be ranking better for a particular phrase. So you can test this out. There is a time lag for that, though. Now, backlinks to your actual video, search engine optimizers will often ask, should I be backlinking to the YouTube video off another site? No, that doesn't really help. What does help, though, is social interaction with your video. It's people liking your video. It's people especially embedding your videos on other popular sites. That helps a lot too. So they're the main things for video search optimization. So the social channels, we use all of these. We use Google+, we use Facebook, we use LinkedIn, and we share the video on every one of these channels, Twitter. The +1 button, we make sure that we encourage people to +1 our video on our site. What I do with my video every week, and I got asked this question just yesterday actually, do I blog? I do. I used to just do a video blog, but now I also add content, so in text form. So the reason behind that is because I want the search engine to pick it up, and also it gives people who don't want to read something to actually, sorry, you don't want to watch something to actually read it. Sorry, especially reading a message from James now. I shouldn't do that, get distracted. So that's why I do a normal text blog and also a video blog, and it also helps for ranking. But one of the main reasons is it allows me to embed our video on our site to introduce people to our brand, and hopefully they'll sign up for our newsletter to get our weekly updates. And the other thing you should be doing, if you haven't already, is get a Google Plus account and make sure you connect your Google Plus account to your YouTube account. It's really important, and for a number of reasons. And one, I can't go into all of them now, but there's things, what we'll talk about is Google authorship is going to play a big part in the coming weeks, and the big changes in Google that are coming up with Google Search Plus Your World, which has already been rolled out in the US, we're starting to see here, will integrate with Google Plus and will affect the number of views that you get on your video, and if your video is displayed in normal Google search results. Another thing that you can do, which is a great technique, is that if you find people who are in your space, in your industry, and are popular, they don't have to be competitors, they could be someone in a related space. Interview them, ask them if you can interview them. Even do it over Skype if they're international, and do a screen capture. Or if you can get to them locally, take your iPhone along and do an interview with them. That can be really powerful if they already have a whole bunch of followers in another field, whether it be on their blog, whether it be in YouTube, whether it be on Twitter, because they'll tell their followers about that interview. And make sure it's a worthwhile interview. Don't just go and interview them because they've got a lot of followers. That would be a tad rude. Okay, getting back to this question about YouTubing or not. YouTube is the big gorilla. And for a lot of businesses, though, it's not the right medium. And the reason why is a lot of corporates will block it in the office. So if you're relying on people watching your video in the workplace, like Melbourne City Councillors, for instance, they're one of our clients. We actually host their video because YouTube is blocked by a lot of corporates, and they want their video to be viewed by corporates. The other thing that some people don't like about YouTube is control and ownership of the content. I don't have terribly much control of it. If YouTube wants to decide that I've broken some Google law, they can switch my channel off, and all those viewers are gone, and all that interaction is gone. And I've seen that happen to a number of people if they break YouTube's terms of service. But whatever medium you use, you should always drive your users back to your home base, which should be your website, and make sure that you get some sort of engagement at that level, and not just solely rely on YouTube. Okay, I want to talk about production. A lot of people think, oh, I've got to have one of these fancy big XL cameras, these huge gigantic lenses. Look, I'm sure Mr. Blendtec has something like that, and even Mr. Orabrush, but that iPhone camera, and I've got one of that, that's a little red case there, that will just mount my iPhone on a tripod, and I take that with me and do interviews with people, and that iPhone will do better quality video than the Canon camera that you see in the same graphic there. And it's quite extraordinary. You can only do about 10 minutes of video before the thing overheats or or shuts down. But as we already know, 10 minutes is just about right. And depending on what the goal of your video is, if your goal is to do some personal branding and establish yourself as an authority in your space, then you don't really need a lot of fancy gear. You can get away with some pretty cheap stuff and still get a reasonable result on YouTube. Back in the 90s, we were doing really high quality video that then we were streaming out at postage stamp size, so it was ridiculous. But I mean, we're archiving the video for repurposing, but it had absolutely no use online, because people say, oh, but HD is such great quality, and if you use Vimeo, which is another website out there, it's much higher quality video, and it is, but there are certain things that you should understand if you want to go down that path, and they are that HD video takes longer to download. Sometimes trying to watch a video on Vimeo can be the most painful experience. And if you're going to try to process high definition video, it takes a lot more grunt at the computer level, and you'll find that there are a lot more crashes and errors and those sorts of things. So rather than worrying about really high quality video, I tend to err more on the side of being more authentic, because it's more important on the web that you are talking to people and not just trying to broadcast a message. And by that I mean is actually thinking that you're actually dealing with a person one-on-one. And the reason for that is that on the web, people can call you out if they think you're not being authentic. On TV, it's a little bit harder to do. It's a one-way medium. Remember that YouTube's two-way, and people will call you out if they think you're not authentic. And a little bit more on the smartphones. The Facebook growth, directly mirrors the uptake of the smartphone. So there are a lot of smartphones out there now, and a lot of people didn't even get online until they got a smartphone. I have family members that hadn't been online until they got a smartphone. On the iPhone, for instance, and also an Android phone, you can film video, you can upload it direct to YouTube, you can edit the video on your phone. And you can actually use, certainly in the case of an iPhone, I'm not sure if the system is the same with Android, but certainly with an iPhone, you can use the headset as a lapel mic. It works quite well. This is the sort of gear that I use. I mean, this is literally the exact same lighting setup that I use. It is a $25 lighting setup from Bunnings, and nothing fancy. And I get good lighting. It's really more about making sure that you get the lighting in the right place, and so you don't get don't light from below, for instance. If you're going to buy a light, don't put it on the floor, because as soon as you do that, if you're using your hands like I do, you'll get shadows all over your face when the video comes out. You look a bit ridiculous. Well, in my case, even more ridiculous than usual. Try to use an external mic, because that makes the world of difference. It will cut down on ambient noise, especially if you're outside, a lot of the noise out there. It will also eliminate any potential echo in the room. And being an old audio engineer, I kind of find it hard to listen to ones that are all boomy, where they haven't bothered to stick even a $2 mic in front of the person. It's not hard to do. And, as I say, you can use your headset for your iPhone. If you're going to do product videos, just remember that you want to probably show your product literally in the best light. So have some nice lights and light it well. That's not the case, though, if you're doing something like personal branding or just purely information videos. This is what I use. I do my weekly videos, or I use screen capture. It's a piece of software called ScreenFlow, and basically allows me to surf around the web, talk about different websites. And this is this is from last week's show, where I was talking about the security installation company. And really simple piece of software to use on a Mac. On a PC, you can get something similar called Camtasia, and Camtasia will also work on the Mac as well. But basically, it allows me to do a screen capture, and if I want to film my head, which I do, because I want people to know me, who I am, and not just a faceless voice. And screen capturing videos is a great way to talk about something of interest to your audience. It might be news, it might be commentary on something in the news, it might be tutorials, which is essentially what I do a lot of as well. So there's a number of ways that you can use screen capturing, but I highly recommend, if you're on a Mac, to use ScreenFlow. I used to use Camtasia when I was on a PC. It's a little bit harder to use, Camtasia, and I found ScreenFlow to be more reliable. Now, publishing, I get asked a lot about. Now, these are some of the sites that I publish to. That image on the right that you see there. YouTube, of course, Dailymotion, Metacafe, Vidler, not Veo anymore. I don't do it to Facebook anymore. LinkedIn, I put a token or an alert automatically up on LinkedIn. And what you're looking here is the interface of TubeMogul.com. Now, this is a free service where you upload your video once to it, and then you just press a button and it publishes to all these other sites. It's a massive time saver. But the reason that I publish to all these different media, all these different channels like Vidler and Dailymotion, is because it gives me more entrance points to my content for audiences that are over there. So if I'm going to get searched on, turn up and search on YouTube, I might as well turn up and search on Dailymotion and Meta Cafe and Fiddler and those sorts of things. If you're doing tutorials or how-to type stuff, there's actually a great site called howcast.com, which is excellent for putting information on, uploading your videos to. And Google loves that site as well, and it gets ranked really, really quickly. If you want to self-host or host on a service like Amazon.com, which is really cheap to do, by the way, just remember who your audience is and how they're getting to your content, because the thing about YouTube is that it just works on every device. You don't have to worry about it. If you're going to host yourself or host on Amazon or something like that, you're going to have to worry about what sort of format that video is in. YouTube does take care of that for you. We've got a client, a Melbourne radio station, who we webcast live their radio stream 24/7, 365, and we do that out of the US. And the quality here is excellent, but the reason that we do it out of the US is because the bandwidth is so much cheaper, and we just get ripped basically for the cost of bandwidth in Australia. So self-hosting can be really cheap, but you do have to pay for it, and of course that's the advantage of YouTube, is that you do not. Now, if you're too shy to talk or to stick your head in front of the camera, then you might want to start off slowly with something like a slideshow. Animoto.com is a great service. There's a free level of access. There's also a paid level of access. The paid level is like $20 a year or something. It's really cheap. But basically, you upload a series of photographs, and then you put a series of text boxes in there, and you can also select from their royalty-free music. That's the other thing too. If you do want to upload a soundtrack or anything like that, make sure that you have the rights to do that. So royalty-free music is really important if you want to do some intros and outros. I don't do an intro on any of my video blogs. I used to years ago, but I feel it's kind of useless. It doesn't. It slows things down, I think, for the viewer. I'd be interested to know what you thought. That'd be an interesting poll for sure. Do you prefer videos with or without an intro? If you use a human, you're going to get more brand fans and you're going to connect better. So a slideshow can be useful to get started and see how it works. Oh, by the way, a lot of people ask me what's the answer to that joke on the slide there. How many SEOs does it take to change a light bulb? And this will appear to the 7% in the audience who do it all the time. The answer is none. We just 301 it to a working one. Okay, if you're, geez, PowerPoint's been a little bit jumpy. Okay, there we go. Increasing the viewership. How do you do that? What are the things you need to be doing? Well, excuse me, like I said before, research the keywords. Research the related content. What are the videos out there that you possibly should be connecting with and the publishers of those videos? Now, one of the ways that you can get 47 million views in 30 days is just to have an awesome piece of content. That will do it every time. That's a common question. How do I create a viral video? Well, be incredibly awesome, and it will happen. So that video, if you haven't seen it, is sensational, and there's parodies out of it as now as well. But it just went through the roof, and we see these things happen all the time. But it's because they're just awesome pieces of content that people want to watch. But remember, it's not necessarily about how many viewers you get. It's about who your viewers are. Are they the right viewers? Typically I'll get, I don't know, 150, 200 views a week, something like that, on one of my videos. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending how much I've been paying attention to the keywords that morning. And for us, it's about getting the right people. Sure, I'd love 47 million views because I could monetize the content, and Google and YouTube would love me. But it's like, having a website that you're worried about you're only getting 1,000 page views a month or something. Well, if they're the right 1,000 people watching your site, then that's great. There is an acronym in the search engine industry called HITS, which people used to talk about getting, I need more hits. Well, HITS is an acronym for how idiots track success. So your viewership is about getting the right viewers on board. And to do that, you need to connect with other publishers and you need to make sure you're using the right keywords and also connecting with the right related content and going and commenting on other people's videos in the same field and liking them and those sorts of things. Now the fifth most important step, I think, is investing in your channel, and I mean by investing time. Now, YouTube now has some fantastic tools. What you're looking at there is the recent upgrade to their analytics tool for YouTube, which can show you some fantastic stuff. The audience retention section is one that I like the best because it shows me where people may have dropped off during the video, or if I get a spike in that graph, it means that they've rewound, a lot of the audience has rewound to see what I had just said. And what I learned early on is that I wasn't putting my watermark up of where people could connect with me on Twitter long enough. It was only up for like 4 seconds. And what I found was, using this tool, is that people will always rewind that spot. And so now I put it up for 8 seconds and it doesn't happen. So you can learn a lot. If you find that people start watching a video and then you get a huge drop, that's not a good thing. It means that people are basically not watching your video. They've been turned off in the first few seconds. So you get good feedback from it. Now, a lot of you out there may know a guy called Darren Rouse, who also goes by the name of ProBlogger. He taught me something years ago, which is something that I've stuck to and learned from him, which is that you need to be consistent in your publishing, and whether it be a blog, whether it be a video or whatever, or even an email newsletter for that matter. And the reason that you need to be consistent is because people want to know that you're going to be sticking around, or they're not going to invest the time in you. So what I did, I decided to go, right, that's it. I am going to do this video religiously every Wednesday morning. It's going to be published. And I've been doing that now for 6 years, and it's paid a lot of dividends. So be consistent. Contribute to other people's videos, like reach out to other people and share a video with them. Encourage users to maybe leave a comment if they have a comment. Encourage them to ask a question. One of the things that I do is I say to people, look, if you have a site that you want me to have a look at, I'll gladly look at it on the show for you and give it a review on SEO and tell you what's wrong with it and give the information freely available if you don't mind the rest of the world seeing your site and put through the ringer, basically. And a lot of people like that. And then it makes it easy content for me because I've got a ready-made piece of content that I can look at and talk about, and I can share advice with other people. And they will tell their networks about that and say, oh, look, Jim did this review on my site. Thanks, mate. And they'll put it out, or they'll tweet out a thank you, or whatever it is. It brings more people into your channel. But it's important, I think, if you find that someone in their video on YouTube is asking a question and you know the answer, just leave a comment. They'll come back and check out your channel as well. Find other people's channels that you enjoy and subscribe to them, and you'll get subscribers back as well. And subscription on YouTube is really important now because the new interface, when people hit YouTube now, they see all the interaction of their subscriptions, the people they subscribe to, and what they're doing. They will see whether they've liked a video, whether they've commented on a video, or whether they've uploaded a video. So it's really important to get subscriptions and to subscribe to other people. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that I couldn't cover today. So what I've done, I've made a download available. It's a 20-page, hey, why don't we call it an ebook? That's what all the kids are calling them these days. For details on everything that I've talked about. But beware, there is an auto-load video there, so you've been warned. It will start playing as soon as you hit the page, so don't do it yet. And that is it, so I'm going to hand back to James.
Wonderful. Thanks very much indeed, Jim. Just quickly, the answer to your quick snap poll about intros, of the 55 people that, let me just take control back, won't be a second, and share my screen. Wonderful. So of the 55 people that took your quick snap poll, which I wasn't expecting. Only one person said they liked an intro. So there you go. I think that's fairly conclusive. And now, apologies to everyone for not jumping in with lots and lots of questions throughout there for Jim. But as you could tell from the first question I asked, when we lost him on audio for 30 seconds, I thought it possibly a bad idea. But that leaves us with a nice 10 minutes now for Q&A. So I've got a whole stack of questions. But before I get into the questions, just in case we do overrun, there will be an exit survey that pops up on your screen as you leave today's webinar. Do fill it in. One, because we want to hear your feedback and your comments on today's webinar, your suggestions for future topics. But also, it's a chance for you to request the handout of the slides that Jim mentioned and some further resources. And we'll obviously recap on that wonderful ebook that Jim's also offered up. And we'll add a few Citrix Online resources of our own. So you can also request a free trial of GoToWebinar, which we're using today, or indeed GoToMeeting for online events and meetings made easy. And if anyone wants to sign up to any of our meeting, training, or webinar services before the 29th of Feb on an annual subscription, we'll give them the first 2 months free. But anyway, without further ado, let's get back to some questions for Jim, and in no particular order. Couple of quick ones on technology. Craig's just asking, what software, iMovie or Final Cut Pro?
I use iMovie. It took me a while to get used to it, being a PC guy when I switched across to Mac, and because I'd always used non-linear editing systems like Final Cut and those sorts of things. But a couple of the guys here use the cut-down version of Final Cut, which is the app on a Mac. But really, iMovie. Unless you're doing a lot of layering and editing and those sorts of things, iMovie will do the trick.
Excellent. A quick crystal ball question. How big is Google Plus going to get, from Sam in Melbourne?
Well, it's already got 100 million users. People say, oh, it's not going to beat Facebook. Well, I really don't think that's the issue. It's a lot about authenticity with Google Plus. It's about Google being able to decide if a person has what they call good authorship or not. A lot of people in search would be familiar with the term PageRank, and that was basically how many other pages are linked to your page. Well, my theory is that is going to be replaced by how good or how reputable a person you are out there on the web, and they're doing that through a thing called authorship and Google Plus, and that's how they know whether someone is a piece of content will be spammy in the future or not. So Google is putting a lot behind this, and they reckon 400 million people by the end of the year. Now, sure, that's not Facebook size, but it stretched the imagination, but it's sizable.
For sure. For sure. Better make it part of my plan as well. A few people on here, Dorothy in particular, just thinking you might have a little bit too much time on your hands, Jim. How much time per week does it honestly take you to manage all of the social channels that you've shown us today?
A lot. The weekly show I do, I mean, I've got it down to because I've been doing it for 6 years now, I have a process that I go through. And, what, like anything, is that once you do it often, you'll get it better at it and you'll do it faster. But David Meerman Scott, who's an author and many of the audience may know out there, he talks about, well, how much time do you invest in putting your trousers on in the morning? Or how much time do you invest in email? They're tools, and if they make sense for you to do them, like keeping your trousers on because, people won't throw stuff at you in the street, then it's worth investing the time in. And it's, you've got to see you've got to understand that there's going to be benefit from that, and you'll invest. I mean, we've been around for 10 years or so now, and we've never done any traditional advertising. It's all been online. It's all been about people finding us through Google or whatever. And so for us, it's essential. Social media channels are essential.
Excellent. Adrian and again a number of other people here asking, I think you mentioned at the beginning the attention span for the general audience is 10 minutes, but a few people quoting various different research sources, anything between 3 to 5 to 7 minutes. What's your honest opinion when it comes to YouTube as to how long a video should be, and at what point do you start breaking it into multiple videos? And I know we face this dilemma as a company all the time.
Yeah, look, it is category dependent. you know, so that depending on what sort of content it is. I mean, like at night, for instance, I will go home and watch YouTube, which is on my iPad, which is then connected to the Apple TV. So I watch YouTube on the plasma TV, and I watch a lot of documentaries on YouTube. You know, 40-minute, hour and a half documentaries. But so I am actually watching YouTube. But my findings are for B2B type video, it shouldn't be over 10 minutes. If you can say what you need to say in 3, say it in 3. It depends what the message is that you're trying to get out there and what you're trying to deliver. I get told on a regular basis that, like, I did a video a couple of months ago. It was really long. It was 20 minutes. And the feedback I got was, yeah, it didn't actually feel like it, though. I didn't get bored. And the thing is to use also that YouTube Insights. So you'll see if your videos are too long, that YouTube Insights will tell you. You'll see people drop off. But where I got my original numbers is back in the 90s when we used to do streaming and before YouTube came along and mucked everything up for everyone. We used to have some great stats because streaming, you can get actual real stats. What we see with YouTube is not known as streaming. It's actually what we call progressive download. But basically it means that we could see at the exact point where people dropped off the video. And on average, we found that 10 minutes was the maximum attention span for business-to-business video.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Graham's asking, in your opinion, apart from your good self, which other Australian brands or organisations are doing online video well? Any that we should rush away to have a quick look at on YouTube when this webinar ends?
Individuals I know, like Darren Rouse, pro blogger, he's got a great little YouTube channel, and he, of course, because he has such a massive following, he gets massive interaction from that. Now, he's a professional blogger, yes. So he's made that is his business. Trevor Young, PR Warrior, on Twitter, you'll be able to find him. I'm not too sure. I think his channel is probably PR Warrior. But as far as other Australians, I don't follow a lot of others, I've got to admit. Most of the ones I follow are probably US-based.
Okay, great. And quick plug there for Darren Rouse, who will be on the GoToWebinar stage on the 22nd of February. Thanks for that, Jim. Beck's just asking, is there a way of preventing the related videos from coming up if it's embedded on your site?
Yes, there's a checkbox that you check when you do it.
There you go. I love those easy ones. You mentioned.
Having said that, I will say something else with that though. We found through our research that it's a really good idea to have related videos come up, because what it does is it gets the Google bot actually coming out to your site when the video finishes playing. It's a little unknown trick.
Great stuff. So I'm making notes as well. Hopefully it's all covered in your ebook. What about, you mentioned Vimeo earlier in the webinar. Matt's just asking, are there any pluses for Vimeo?
Oh, high quality, and there's a lot of really interesting content up there, and the quality is sensational. To get a professional account, though, you actually have to pay for it, so it does cost. I don't use it a lot, and my stepson, who had that tattoo of his mother on his arm, he was in a short film that was put up there the other week, and I was trying to show some relatives at home the other day, and it just took forever to download. So a lot of people really love it because of the quality and the way that it's presented and the interaction socially. That would be the other thing with it, is that it does interact quite well with other social networks.
Excellent. Thanks, Jim. Let's just take one more question, because I am conscious we're at the top of the hour. Nick's asking, what are your views on pay-per-view and subscription-based online video, particularly, I guess, in the media, entertainment, and sports sectors?
It's got to be compelling. If you think people are going to pay for it. We've got a couple of clients who we sell their video. One of the clients is they have a unique golfing technique, a tutorial, and we sell their video for them, and it's got limited time and all those sorts of things. But it's got to be compelling content. We did one of the first digital rights management servers in Australia, which was basically protecting videos so people couldn't seal it or share it, or you can only watch it for a certain amount of time. Just about everybody around the world now has done away with digital rights management. So unless you're doing video to actually sell something that is of real value that you think people are going to use, then you've got to be really careful how you do it. The other way people are monetizing through video, I've outlined in the ebook, but a lot of them are just doing advertising around the video.
Okay, there was actually a second part to that question. Sorry, Nick, he was saying media, entertainment and sports versus corporate and B2B, and I guess just alluding to whether you could actually, whether there is a, a viable subscription model in the corporate and B2B space. But I think you've answered it with the fact that the content has to be compelling.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you're giving away content like you are today on this webinar for free.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, isn't it? It's like there is so much content out there for free. So what are you doing that is golden that you can charge for? I mean, there's probably something we'll probably do. We've got a DVD that we'll probably release later this year, and I'd rather do a DVD because I think it's easier to sell something like that as a DVD because there's trophy value involved and it's not just available anywhere. So if you're going to do something like that, I think it's better to do it offline.
Excellent, and thanks for answering those, but thanks also for all the great questions, and sorry we didn't quite get to them all, but I'm sure Jim and I will take a look after the webinar and see if there's anything that we urgently need to address. So we're at the top of the hour, conscious everyone has finished lunch, got to get back to work, so thanks very much for attending, and thanks so much to Jim for freeing up so much time to present this today. I've certainly made a lot of notes, even though I said at the beginning don't make any notes, and there will be a recording coming out to you a little later than the day. I'm sure Jim will put it on YouTube as well.
Certainly. Great
stuff. And I do urge you to give GoToWebinar a try if this is your first webinar today. Again, in the exit survey, you can request a free trial. And again, do take us up on that subscription offer before 29th of February of the first 2 months free. And for those of you that did enjoy the webinar, and I'm sure that's most of you because most of you are still on even though we've gone past the hour. So do reach out to Jim. I'll make sure his contact details, his myriad of social media contact details are in the follow-up email. Space is never big enough. And we do have a couple more webinars coming up. Franklin Covey, the 5 choices to extraordinary productivity, and another one for the marketers out there, 7 must-haves for 2012 marketing success. And as I mentioned, we do have also that additional one from Darren, which I hadn't mentioned. So thanks again, Jim, and thanks again especially to all of you for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, James.